What's up, everybody? Hope you all can hear me. Long time no chat. It's been a few minutes. Let me know how my audio sounds and everything. I just I got a new PC, or I got a new Mac, I guess I should say, and the Mac is a little bit weird with audio and streaming and stuff, so I want to make sure I have everything good to go. Let me see here. Live chat. Audio check. Trying to get confirmation is actually working. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, say hi, don't be shy. Let me message somebody. Give me confirmation here. Joel, what's up? Gabriel, is it Danilo or Danilo? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Feels good to be back. It's been a while since I've streamed, so I don't have like anything crazy planned today. I just want to kind of chill, see what you guys are up to. I probably have some issues that I can work on in some of these libraries. But yeah, just kind of getting my bearings again with streaming. Yeah, I know it's been a couple months, right? I don't really know when the last time I streamed was. 7 months? Wow. Okay, it definitely doesn't feel like it's been that long. I'll be honest. It does not feel like it's been that long. Yeah, it's good to see you all. Like I said, I don't have anything crazy planned today. I want to see if there's any bugs I can fix in some of these projects, or that I have the effort to fix today. And then I'm pretty much open to do whatever. So whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm game. If you want me to look at your code, I can do that. If you want help with something, I can help you with something. Just let me know. Okay, so some of these things here, I actually need to rewrite the entirety of the data table guide for Shadsi and Svelte, because it is actually, I did something kind of stupid. I should be using for some of these, what is it? Table.create column. Yeah, for some of these columns, I should be using table.display. Like, especially for this one here, like the select, like the select column, the checkbox column, and then also the actions should be a table display. Cody Griffith, what is up? Bun and Svelte kit? I haven't even looked. I mean, I've looked at Bun, of course. It's been everywhere. But I haven't tried using it yet. But from what I understand, it's a drop-in replacement for like npm, pnpm. So I want to say Vercel actually started supporting it as well recently. So why is this my homepage? I'm using like a different profile here, and this is kind of cringe. Whatevs. They did add it. Awesome. So usually this time of the night, what I'll do is I'll just look through issues and see what I can like knock out relatively easily. Because otherwise, if I try to take on like something too large, I'll end up staying up all night, which is not good. I'll let Tomas handle that. This is obviously an issue. So what's everybody been up to recently? Cody, what have you been up to other than popping into streams and saying hype? What have the last 7 months had in store for you? So one thing that we need in Melt really bad is a date picker, man. I'm like putting off that. Bun stream when? What's up, Adrian? You're not a moderator on this stream? Oh, you are now. Totally off topic, but you know. Hey, that's fine. There's nothing on topic right now. We're not even on a topic, so you guys can determine the topic. Recently found out about Melt UI and finally decided to jump on the Svelte train. Actually, let me zoom in this chat over here so you guys can see it better if you're not. I know YouTube's like chat interface kind of sucks. It's not as good as Twitch if you're on a mobile device, especially. But I can't do the restream thing anymore. I gotta, at least not for right now. Yeah, Melt UI is awesome, man. It's really awesome. Started playing golf this summer. I actually started, my girlfriend and I were taking lessons before summer because in Florida, you don't golf in the summer. Well, at least I don't. It's way too hot outside. It's like, you might have a heat stroke, honestly. But last winter, we were taking golf lessons and we got distracted. We still have some lessons left, but yeah, I'd like to get into that as well. Yeah, right? Oh my God. Talk about being drenched. Like you're just drenched in sweat, the humidity. So Isaac Fink here started the date picker builder. He got caught up. I think life caught up with him or something. And so he was unable to finish it. I also have the navigation menu that I haven't finished. I was partly feeling like burned out a little bit because we had made like 3 different menus back to back to back to back to back. And it was just kind of exhausting me. So I have like functionality in place. Like, can we check it out? I hope the preview still works. I think this is the old docs, but yeah. So like the hardest part was like, well, if I scroll down here, let me, yeah, like see that transition? Like that's like a nice transition right there. Again, I was trying to mirror the Radix one, but we've decided to kind of not, I guess, one for one their exact designs with our components. So Thomas has been working on kind of replacing those different designs, but this was a pain in the behind to do, at least for me. But I could finish that, but I also want the date picker because that's like a pretty important component that we're missing on Svelte. At least I'm not even aware of any like Svelte date picker. It's going to do Bing search. Are you kidding me? Next stream, I'll have my second profile updated for this. What do we want to look up? Date picker, Svelte. Like, this isn't bad, actually, to be honest. They have, like, a range, though. Yes, they don't have like a range. It's pretty minimal. I think at this point, melt is at probably about that same state. Yeah, so like this is the current state of melt state picker. It's kind of a bit weird. Like this shouldn't be possible for me to do this, right? To have these two, or I guess I only have one selected here. I have the 13th, but it looks like I have the 11th selected. So there's some bugs. So maybe I'll look at that. I think I actually started. Yeah, don't mind these 500 branches here. Yeah, I want to finish this. No one else has stepped up to do it, and I actually really want this component for Shadsy and Svelte. A part of that's going to be going to have to require me getting my bearing on how they already have this set up. Like, it's one thing to start something from scratch. It's another to like pick up on what somebody else has done. So I did something. I was doing something with it. I think I just disabled the range for the time being. So what I was using as like a baseline here was React date picker. God, this is Bing is just a terrible search engine. It's actually React date picker. This is it. So this is what the original Shadsy UI used under the hood. It's pretty much like the standard for React date pickers. This thing is pretty intense though, as far as like the capabilities. Like if you look at these different types here, you can do a lot. Like, so when I was last working on this, I was just trying to figure out like, okay, what is like the minimum functionality that we would need? And like being able to select a date, a range of dates, but then, you know, also, okay, do we want to display just a week at a time? Do we want to display a whole month? Do we want to display a month and then the days beforehand, afterwards? So I think, like these are just like the beginning props here. And I hate myself for not commenting this code when I was actually doing this, because I'm not sure exactly what some of these are for. I know this matcher here is used to actually match the date. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, it's stuff I took out. Okay, so I guess minimum functionality right now we have, I can select a date. Now what I want to be able to do is select a range of dates. And this all works, but another thing too I don't like is that like the month should display here. Like I have no clue right now. I have no clue what month I'm in right now. I'm in February. Okay, great. So I think the month should probably show here, and then whatever they selected should probably be on the input itself rather than being here. Because I mean, month and year, or both, I guess. But that's just more of an implementation. Okay, so we have last month dates, next month dates, select date, active date, select end. I think that's what they were using for before I came in here and like kind of tore this thing apart. They were doing something with the before and end. Okay, so when we click on these pre-year, pre-month buttons, those change the year and the month and so on and so forth for the next as well. And then each last month dates as D. Okay. This is interesting. Okay, I guess it would make sense if it showed, oh yeah, because I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah, so these first few that are kind of like grayed out a little bit are the last month dates. Each dates are the current month's dates. And we also have next month dates for a month like this, where we have additional dates here at the end of the month. Oh. You guys are being awfully quiet. I was kind of hoping that you all would distract me and drag me to something else, so that I wouldn't have to do this, but I'll take it. I respect it. I know everybody wants the date picker, so I'll sacrifice my own mental sanity for it, I suppose. Okay, so really the logic we want to implement, and sorry I keep flipping back and forth to the wrong window. I'm still just trying to get used to this Mac, navigating it on a single screen. Okay. Where's that earliest coming from? Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so this is the date. So the date is each one of those things inside of here. So each one of these. Now, what's interesting though is why is okay, so they're all just dates, but okay. So when we select one of the items, I'm thinking about the range here right now. And I'm pretty sure there's a prop for that. It should be, which one is it? Okay, it's the matchers. So that's what I was working on changing. So I think they just had like a Boolean set originally, like range or not. But just to kind of set us up for success over the long term, whenever we have all these feature requests and things that want to be added, the matcher wait, why is that there? Oh, this is the base one. Okay. And forgive me, I really don't remember where I left off on this. I may have like quit mid doing something, so I'm just trying to regain my bearings here on what I was actually up to here. So we had this matcher type, which can be a Boolean, and I want to say I was referencing React Date Picker here. So let me just look at their API reference. I know they have something about a matcher here. Yeah, so they have a matcher. It's a value of a function that matches a specific day. Okay, so those are passed via disabled. So you can disable certain days. So that's really irrelevant to me at this point in time, but I think I just set that up just so we have it. So like if you were Airbnb, for example, and you only wanted to allow the dates where the bookings are available, then that's how you would do that. And we have a few different options there. Like we have before this date, after this date, and then from, to, after, before, things like that. Now, okay, so here's the mode here. So the range mode, and we have mode single, range, multiple. So if mode is range, and this code was written, I think, by somebody else. Yeah, by Isaac initially. So what they're doing is if mode is range, they're updating the value to, if the length is less than 2, then they're pushing this to the beginning. Okay, either way though, when we select one in multiple, it's going to be the date. So it's going to be in these event listeners here. So case range. Okay. So if I actually just go into that Tailwind file, that svelte file, and I set this to range, I'm curious if this works right now. Okay, so this is the bug right here, as you can see. So like that seems to work fine, but it's something when I do like that. Like this should not be like that. What's up, Manuel? Long time no see. Is my head being covered by my logo down there? I don't know if it is or not, or if that's just like my preview. Timmy Turner, what is up? Long time no see. Yeah, Melt UI is awesome. I'll agree. I'm messing with the day picker right now. I'm kind of like hopefully trying to entertain some people. Mohammed, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so the bug exists whenever we try to, like this should be fine because we're still within the same range. Like we're still, but that should also work, right? So if I have like 11 and 12, it should go either through 11, which it probably shouldn't. The next click should then take, so each click, that range should become the previous index, right? So if I had 11 and 12 selected here, right? So if I did 11 first and then 12, right? My next click should be one of the two entries in that range, right? So what makes the range? So if I click on 14 here, now the entry should be from 12 to 14 rather than being, or yeah, from 12 to 14. Because we click 12 last, that gets shifted over. But right now, okay, so that works. So I think if I do this, yeah. So afterwards, it's like not shifting back. There's like more than one date in there. So it shouldn't be able to allow a gap like this in the range mode. And that's like kind of the problem I'm trying to solve right now. I kind of don't like, that this logic can potentially be pretty complex, might end up being complex. I don't really like it being in this, like all inlined here, but I guess I'll leave it for now. So if range, and a date is selected, basically the only thing they're considering is prev 0 and prev 1, or the dates array 0 and 1, when really like it should be able to be all the dates. Or is it just, or does it actually just want, like, when you select a date, what is the actual value of that input? Like if I selected a range, can you do pop and unshift stuff on an array that has only 2 ever, and then just for loop create a new array with the numbers between the 2 and 1 array? Yeah, no, that would be possible, 100%. I'm just trying to figure out, whenever you're doing like a range date picker, does it actually, it doesn't give you an entire, does it give you an entire array of every single date in between that? Imagine if I picked like 2 years. I would imagine it's just going to give you like a start and end, which I don't even know. Okay, so they do a from and to. That's what I would imagine as well. What's today's stream about? We're just hanging out, Mohammed. I'm just trying to regain my stream bearings and test everything out. Make sure my audio and everything's good. Video. I got a new lens. I don't know if you can tell. I usually green screen, but now that I have like a private room to stream and work in, I'm probably gonna, have a nice stream backdrop over here. Right now it's kind of busted because I know that for a fact this should not be like directly behind my head. It's like poor, I watched a bunch of videos on like how to set up your background, but I'm terrible when it comes to like interior design. I need my girlfriend to help me with that. We're just hanging out. So if you have any questions, Mohammed, or whatever, feel free. Do you know about R rules? That's for repeating events, not arranged, but it's kind of related. I do not know about R rules. Nice, man. Well, it's good to hear. I know my haircut looks pretty bad, so I actually went to get a haircut yesterday before my stream today. Big day, And my barber had an emergency. Right as I got there, he was leaving. So next time you all see me, I won't look part homeless. Yeah, so basically, we really just need to keep track of the 2 dates. And I want to say that we had discussed using datefns for this. I don't really know if it's necessary, but like that's a pretty tried and true library. I don't really know what I guess the negative implications are of it. Is it not? I'm pretty sure it has tree shaking, I think. So I don't really know why we wouldn't use it just to make our lives easier. Because I know that, again, like React Date Picker makes it. This is you looking part homeless. Yeah, look at my, well, see, if I embraced the long hair, it'd be a different story. It's the fact that like, I'm like this weird in between where my hair is slightly going over my ears. I kind of have like a half-assed beard at the moment, which I keep just so I can actually look my age. I had to make a calendar in Lua a while back. It was painful, even though it was just a static calendar without a state or anything else. Yeah, the headphones are doing work. Yeah, I'm telling you. That's why I have them on. And the worst part about when my hair gets long is that if I'm working all day and I have headphones on, I take them off and it's just like that weird imprint on the side of my head where it looks like I've been gaming all day or something. Nope, just writing code. That's the worst. Yeah. So something's happening here. Select end. So right now, again, like someone else built most of this code originally. Isaac, who did a great job of getting all like the groundwork done. That's really like, that's like the annoying part, but also it's nice when you do start from it because you have context and know what the hell everything's doing. Calendar R rule. I'm afraid to Bing something again. Recurrence rule. Oh, I don't have my extension on this browser. Holy ads. I forgot what ads look like. What's that? There's an extension that's good at this. I can't remember. I have it on my other browser. Dark Reader. Okay, so this is for like recurring events, right? So if I wanted to set like, okay, every Friday I have a meeting. Help. I'm glad this is your first time seeing my face. I have a couple videos on my channel with my face. It's just a whole nother, whole nother area you have to think about when making videos if you're going to be on camera too. Am I creating Melt UI? I'm working on it right now. I'm working on the date picker for it. I don't know how much progress I'm going to make, but yeah, I helped, I guess, lay the groundwork for Melt. I will give 99% of the credit though to Tomas, because he built the internal things that make it possible for these builders to even work, right? Yeah, Shatsy and Svelte, that I ported that. But this date picker is going to be used in Shatsy and Svelte. That's kind of why I want to make it. But it'll be used in, first it'll be used in bits, it'll be in Melt, and then it'll be in bits, and then it will be in Shatsy and Svelte. Hey, no problem. Hey, Fade Great. Yeah, it's been a long time. 7 months last time I was live. Feels not that long ago. But it feels good. Yeah, Timmy, I'll keep that in mind, but right now I just want to get this thing like functioning. That would probably honestly be, I wonder if that would be, so something else to think about when we're talking about in the context of Melt UI, like the, does Date Picker have recurring? They don't. So like when you're talking about a headless library or like even like a low level library like this, like you want to make it extensible as possible so that anybody can wrap it with their own custom logic. So if you wanted to make a recurring calendar around of it, then you could do so, hopefully with the tools that are, with the APIs that are exposed. Okay, Dark Reader. Okay, so this is a bug. And I'm trying to determine like when is it occurring. So it's occurring, like that's weird right there. This is definitely weird. So something's not being reset, right? So after each update of the value, I'm pretty sure it's this this select end thing that's kind of trippy. Because it starts out at false, I want to say. Yeah, so it starts out at false. So I'm imagining that once they actually select one date, it's now, this is being updated to false, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, once they select the date, it's being updated to true. So now they're like, okay, they're picking the last date now. And then once they pick the last date, it should reset. Problem is that what really should be happening is we have to shift that first date, or that last date we selected is now going to be the first date. rather than that being the, what's it called? That's where the bug is happening, because this is like in a weird state. So like if I just remove some of this stuff here, where is that? So with range here, I'm just gonna like kind of kill this logic altogether. I'm just gonna set prev 0 equal to dates. So now we're not going to have any type of range. Yeah, so it's kind of working as okay, so now what we have to do is when we select a new range, because so I guess like with a date picker, is it able to go in reverse too? So let's say I had 13 selected here by itself. If I click on like 7, that should be possible, right? So the indent hell is not for me though. Why does Melt use builders instead of providing spell components? Harry, really it's like almost near impossible to accomplish what I would say actually is impossible to accomplish what we're accomplishing with Melt with just using spell components. The same like headless nature of it. I mean, if it's not impossible, it's damn near close to. And it was exhausting. Like it had been exhausted with Radix Svelte, and it was so complex. Now the builders, I will admit, are complex, but like the components themselves were super complex. The context, like there was just a lot there. And it's also, I think it's preferable because you can construct your own type of components out of it. Whereas before you were kind of stuck with like the bits UI type stuff, right? Where you have to follow exactly like, here's your root, here's your content, here's your item, here's your this. Whereas this enables you to compose different components. On top of that, you can choose any element you want. So I can use a div, I can use a field set, I can use an input. But the big thing is like the event listeners, like not being able to spread props, not being able to like add a bunch of event listeners to an arbitrary child component. That's a big issue with Svelte that I hope gets addressed in Svelte 5. But I will say I have inside knowledge on the Svelte 5, and it's only going to make Melt UI even better. And funny enough, it's actually going to make it even easier to use. So I can't leak anything, unfortunately, or else Rich will revoke me of my life. But there's another approach where the third click restarts the range and it becomes the first state of the range. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Manuel. That's what I think it should happen. Like, I think you click once, you click again, that's your range. Oh, you're saying, okay, yeah. I don't want to go backwards again after we already have a range. I don't want the next click to like go from that last range. I think it should probably restart. Like, hey, you don't want that range anymore. Here's your new range. But it feels like a lot of sites do it differently though. Why not using a state machine? I have no clue. I have no clue. We probably could use one, but I don't know. I tried using a state machine like a couple weeks ago, and Adrian like roasted me for it. So since then, I haven't really brought it up. I was trying to use a state machine for something that should not be using a state machine. Like it was like the simplest logic ever. Does it keep range between months? It should. Again, like right now, like I don't know. Let's find out. I kind of broke it though when I did that thing, but like let's just select October 19th. Okay, so let's first get this sorted. So right now, all we're doing is when I click on the button, we are updating the value index 0 to this. what we really want to check is if there's already two values, like Manuel said, if there's already two values in this array, then we want to pretty much reset the array, right? So if it's greater than 1, I'm sorry, if it's greater than 2, this is length here, not index. If the length is greater than 1, then we can do this. Love your stream, particularly that this is nerds learning together. 100% a bunch of nerds, that's it. It's funny, I don't know how old a lot of you all are, but when I was in school, like being a computer kid or a computer nerd, which I wouldn't consider myself like an ultra nerd, but I was like the guy who knew computers. I was the guy who was always messing with the library's computers and doing reckless stuff. But it was like seen as like something I was like ashamed of. At least here in the US, we have a kind of a, if you weren't like great at sports, you're pretty much worthless. Like all the sports guys going to the NFL, NBA, you're going to be nothing but a computer nerd living in his mom's basement. But yeah. Were you the guy installing Halo? No, honestly, like the most, I did get suspended once for, I just changed, there was like this, what was the site called? I think it's still around. You can pretty much make Google say whatever you want it to say. Like you can pretty much create your own Google search page. So I set all of like the home pages to all the laptop or desktops in the computer lab to like the librarian's name is a bitch or something like that. Something like really messed up and inappropriate at that age in 8th grade. Maybe it was 7th grade. But I had just moved to a new school, so I had to like make a statement, that I wasn't going to be messed with, I'm kidding. But I did do that. Okay. So here we are checking to see if it's greater than 2. Actually, if it is 2. If it's greater than or equal to 2. Then we're pretty much just resetting this array altogether. So like Manuel said, the third click will start over from scratch. Otherwise, we got to do something different. We actually want to return here. So return prev. If it's not greater than or equal to 2, then we're just going to like push. I think that's maybe as simple as it is. I lied. I broke something. What did I do? If it's greater than or equal to 2, that means it already has a start and an end date. Oh, I'm not resetting that weird variable that we're using here. I actually don't think we even need this. So something's preventing select end. Like, what is that? There's some conditional I'm imagining somewhere that's what should I use for a project? Melt UI or Shad and Svelte? It really depends on what you're looking for. If you want like components that look good out of the box, like you don't have to do that much too. You can customize them still, but you don't have to like do a lot. You don't have like you have opinionated decisions made around the APIs, right? Then use Shad and Svelte. If you want components, but you don't want any styles, then you can use Bits UI. And if you want to control the element or get to this like granular level of control that Melt provides, then obviously use Melt. Like, I guess I've always thought about Melt in a different light than maybe others. I've thought of it as like an enabler to build like component libraries. So I've like, now again, there are plenty of people who are using it for their own projects, like their own personal sites and apps and things like that. And it's perfectly fine. If you're building out like a custom UI library from scratch for your project, then yeah, you'd use Melt. But I think the power of Meld is that we can kind of consolidate the entire ecosystem into like a common expected API, right? So for example, if Skeleton UI was to want to add a dropdown or a context menu or something like that, they could apply their own skeleton opinions and their skeleton styles and all that good stuff that Skeleton provides with it, but then have all the functionality the same way. So it's not like, okay, with Skeleton, if I press the enter key when the menu's open, it like closes. With Melt, it doesn't. With Shadzian it does this. Like, you know, and all these components were designed to like the ARIA spec. I mean, there may be some issues with some of it still. And if you find any, please let us know. But like we went line for line, like, hey, when I press up arrow, this should happen. And we've tried to like, you know, put a strong emphasis on that. Yeah, like that's like, I mean, that's really what it is for. Hey, Adrian, I did not do that. Look, see this? I have git lens on for proof. Yeah, this is a terrible practice. So we can just do prev.push date here. We don't need to occupy more memory unnecessarily. Okay. Oh, Finance, what's up? I have a face. Yes, I've streamed in the past, and I think I have like 2 videos on my page with my face in it. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Okay, so I've broke something here. Like it's not even functional at all at this point. So what was happening here before? Because I didn't think there was any like... Was I not breaking there or what? Yeah, so like all he's doing here is setting a conditional check. Like this logic here should be almost the damn same. Why can't I redo? Hello? Okay, whatever. Yeah, so if prev.length is greater than or equal to, if it's greater than 1, then we're going to essentially reset prev altogether to a new array with, oh, this is supposed to be date. And then otherwise, we're just gonna do prev.push date and then return prev. Okay, so is there something on the front end that's doing this or on this side? I'm a bit confused as to how my logic is different there. Okay, so it's like freaking out to the point where like it's Hey, we'll do Ho. Thank you. Ho in not a mean way. And that's your name way. Manuel, so you're thinking, like, what if I click on like 13 and I want to go like from the 13th to the 7th? But the 13th is my first click. Like, can I go backwards at all? I feel like I should be able to, right? Yeah, I think I should be able to go backwards. I think just the third click should like reset it. But this one here, like, just keeps expanding it. Like, it just keeps going. It's like, how do I get out of this? I guess to reset the range, you just, like in this case here, like when I have this, like what is clicking on 15 going to do here? Is it going to take me from 9 to 15 or from 22 to 15? I don't know. Click it, 9 to 15. Which I guess makes sense, but I'm just trying to figure out why this isn't working right now. Like why this is not, when in doubt, log it out. Aha. Okay, so just restart here from scratch, figure out where we're at. So when I open this up, I click on, which in reality, this date should already be set, but we haven't had a click event yet. So that's why it hasn't logged anything. So technically right now, 12 is already in that array. So if I click on 18, we should have an array with two dates, the 12th and the 18th. But instead, we just have the 12th and the 12th. Which is... So it logs the date here, right? Okay, I console logged it before I actually, before I did it. And we can actually even make this better. So I can just, like, make have a log happen every time the date changes or the value changes. Okay, so right now we have a single item in the array. The 5th, which is what I clicked. Technically, should it have selected the 12th to the 5th? I guess that's like my internal dilemma right now. Yeah, like, I think it should reset as well. But my question right now is, when I'm starting it, like, let's say I have 12 selected right now. Like by default, we're starting with today's date, right? They're booking an appointment or they're booking a hotel. Start with today's date. We have the 12th as our value. If I click on 5, is it then going to go from 12 to 5? Or 12 to the 5th? So it kind of go backwards? Or do we just restart and start at the 5th? And then your next click is the range? Now, granted, like ideally this wouldn't even have like a date populated, but I'm pretty sure Marriott does that too. Like it'll just pick some random day like next week when you're trying to book and you got to play this game. Hey, what's up, SRG? Long time no see. Yeehaw, what's up? Restart at the 5th. What's up, Michael? You haven't chatted yet today, I don't think. Welcome to the stream. SRG, welcome. Long time no see. I know it's been 7 months. Okay, so we're restarting at the 5th. I think that's what's already happening anyways. So click on 5th. Yeah, we're starting at the 5th. So some set hours function somewhere is doing that, which is probably in where the hell is that at? What is this? Okay, so we're calling is after or is before, somewhere in there, and that's what's actually triggering that to happen. So somewhere in here, likely in effect, active date. Let's see, or it's this. It's likely this. Because if we look at this, when the value changes, this is going to rerun. And then what's going to happen is going to run this function here to see if it's the same value, same day. And the issue here is that we're trying to get the second value before we even have it. Like there's no, I don't see a conditional here that would check for that. So in this case here, like we don't set an end until we actually have an end, right? It looks like this may be where the issue started happening for him too. I'm just gonna kind of do this a little bit sloppy right now, but we'll clean it up later. I just want to kind of get some logic going here. So now is same day. Okay, so where else is that being called? This bit here. Calvary has arrived. What's up, Charlie? What's up, Premiere? Good to see you guys. Nice hanging out with you all last night. Okay, so it doesn't even seem like really anything's happening here. I wonder if that's what they're highlighting. Just for some context. Hey, thank you, Charlie. Appreciate that. I think those are the first New Zealand dollars I've ever gotten. Appreciate it, man. Right now we're working on trying to finish the Melt UI date picker so we can add it to ShadCN and all that. But I'm picking up where someone else left off, and trying to understand what they have going on here. So to me, I don't really see what they're using those for, those data attributes. So I think we can honestly just kind of like kill them. Get selected from value. Oh, I'm gonna re-add him, Timmy. Yeah, I'm gonna add him back. Yeah, those are just more so gonna be used for styles and stuff. Likely, we'd use them for some things, but right now I'm just trying to figure out why the hell is this not working. Okay, so this function here, get selected from value. I'm unsure of if I like agree with the setup of this component so far. Like, I guess what the idea here is that like you're able to set your own type of date value. Actually, no, it's a date. So like, interesting enough, like this is interesting because if you look here, like we're passing the value as a prop to this date builder, right? And then inside of this, we have props. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, cool. So get selected from value, props.value, or nothing. Okay, so I guess by default, here's something else to think about too, guys. Like, okay. If I just set like a date, so let's say this is a range, like imagine this is a hotel. I select the 12th. The 12th is my range. I want just the 12th to the 12th. So I guess that's what's happening here, right? So it is setting the 12th in both indexes here originally. So that's another logic. That's something else we have to take into consideration here, because now we can't just simply shift, push, reset. That's probably where it starts to get tricky. But we could just probably run a conditional to see if they're the same. If those two are the same, then we handle it differently. If they're not, then we handle it the way we were wanting to handle it. Because what's happening here is we're like, yeah, okay. I kind of want to like track the state of whether the date's been changed, but I'm trying to think if there's like perhaps a better way to do that. Yeah. Like, because if you think about it, if the user sets that date, like let's say it's pre-populated to that, Okay, let's just try this out. There's going to be like a weird edge case where like, yeah, I already know there's going to be some weirdness, but if prev 0 and or is equal to prev 1, then we're just going to return prev like that. So leave it alone. Because that's how you would like, if I had a range, that's how you would like select just like the one date and you didn't want to do like a range. So I don't want to like destroy the array or anything. But maybe I do, because if those are already both populated, but I click on something else, and date is going to be the date they clicked on. So if all these are the same, like if they're just clicking on the same date, like we're just going to leave it be, right? Again, I'm just talking out loud here, so. Now, if the length of it is greater than 1 otherwise, meaning they already have 2 dates selected, we're going to reset it, and the new date is going to become that array. Otherwise, we're going to add that date to the end. But in this case, too, we should also probably check if the date's before it or not, right? So okay, let me just get rid of my logs here and just kind of start over here a little bit. So I want to keep the value log there. And then in those utils is kind of where I'm a little bit confused here as to what the hell is going on, to be honest with you. Like the function get selected from value returns a Boolean. I'm assuming, I'm wondering if that's like if the date is already selected or what the name behind that actually means. Okay, so get the status if this one is selected or not. Okay, that's fine. So in this case here, we're passing an array. So switch statement, case range, this should be an array. And it is. If this is the same day as value 0, if this is the same day as value 1. The problem is that maybe value 1 doesn't exist. Is that the kind of the issue I'm seeing here, actually? Yeah, it's undefined, it looks like. Possible. Set hours. Okay, yeah. So I want to say like, if this, then like, I'm just going to kind of break this down because these, okay, so I've just kind of like, you know, complicate that a bit, but Nice. Okay. Cool. So that was the issue, is that like value 0 or value 1 is not always existing, right? So we can't just, and it's expecting it to be a date there, I think. When is this util running? Good question. You can tune in and find out, I guess. I'm working on Baba. I'm working on a Melt UI right now, date picker. Someone already started like a lot of it. I'm just trying to finish it because I want it. So part of this is me like trying to comprehend what's going on in the code base already. Like certain statements like this, like I find to be like kind of, I guess, more confusing than not. Like this to me, like I would just rather see like a conditional there, but that's just me. Okay, so what do we have working right now? So we can click on 4, I can click on 6. Okay, when I click on 19, it should reset, starts me back over. Click on 22. It's looking good so far. Click on 5, and then I click on 1. This is a bug. So if it's behind it, we need to reset it, right? That's what we've kind of determined. Maybe we make that an option. There's probably like it might be like an ARIA spec for this as well that I probably should look at eventually. But as for the keyboard stuff, like how it expects it to work. But like this isn't exactly working. Like it's like when I click on this last one, like none of the ones in between it are highlighted. It's really just a matter of we need to pop this bad boy out. If it's behind it. So I would imagine there's a function here, maybe is before. Yep. So we should probably handle that inside of the event handler. I'm not really sure what this is for, but I'm leaving it there for now, I guess. Okay, so in this case here, let me click on it. If it's all equal, we're going to do this, right? If it's greater than 1, this is where we start doing things, right? So we clicked on the dates, and we already have a date clicked. So this is where we want to check to see if, well, actually, no, this would be 2 dates. So it's actually here, after the fact. So here, if prev 0, I guess I should probably check to see if this actually even is an. Yep, Copilot's kind of doing something here. Okay, so this is like the logic that I was talking about if we wanted to implement or not. But what we're saying though is if it's before, we basically just want to restart altogether. And so in reality, we could probably do I want to say we could probably smash it into this right here, but let me just get this working first and I'll refactor. Get up Copilot, let him cook. Yeah, seriously. Copilot is a lifesaver. It's great. My favorite is just like, it just knows something, especially like monotonous things. Like if I'm going to be doing a bunch of like the same things over and over again, it's just nice that it's able to like pick up those patterns. Like if I'm doing an array of months, if I just do like January, February, it'll just start like filling it in. Okay, so if it's before, we're going to just do this. So in all reality here, I want to say this should work. But actually, this is the same logic here. So really, okay. I think this will work. I may have just like broke it, but ooh, look at that. Wow. That's special, isn't it? Okay, but that's kind of annoying though. So it shouldn't do that though. It should hey Alan, thank you. Appreciate that. Manuel, I'm trying to read your message here. Sorry, it's being cut off. You add a selection strategy option so you know if you reset or extend the range left and right. What do you mean by that specifically? Like ideally, like the ideal end state is like React date picker level functionality, right? We don't have a date picker like this in Svelte. So like if you can look at this, will it be like that initially? Probably not at its initial release, but that's the goal, is to eventually bring it to that point. Okay, so this is working, right? Like as far as I can't keep extending it. That's obviously an issue, but that's because of my busted logic there. Like, so if I click 11, I click 21, I'm like, shit, I actually meant to go to the 22nd. I shouldn't reset it like that. I should just keep going. But only for dates ahead of that one, of the last selected date. Because any dates in the selected dates should trim it, right? So here's where the logic starts to get a little bit trickier. Okay, so going to the 22nd, I actually want only until the 15th. Now, I think we decided that we would reset that, but that could slightly be confusing though, because now I'm like here at the 15th, and I want to do from the 13th to the 15th. I click here, up. I guess now I can do this. Okay, it took me like 4 steps. So I'm wondering if I have this bit selected here, I feel like it's safe to assume that if I go and click on one of these, I'm expecting, and please correct me if you would expect otherwise, I want to know some different opinions. If I have this selected and I click on the 19, I now expect 13 through 19 to be selected. What do you all expect when that happens? And can you all see this actually? I'm not sure if it's zoomed in enough or not. So Michael, you think resetting to the 19th. So I guess like, so once you select your range, you're just locked in. Like, but I guess I'm trying to think about what is the average user. Like, this is literally how I find, oh God, why is it being? No, it's medium. I'm probably gonna get cut off. No? Why is it so like off-centered? Jesus. Oh, it's because I'm sitting off-centered. Yes, this is good. This is a good idea. And that's what those disabled matchers are going to be for, is just like don't even show the dates if they're not selectable, right? Is this it? Bro. Actually, I guess Material UI has like one, right? They're probably a pretty good standard, I'd guess. Yeah, Manuel, I think so too. I would think so too. Date range components. Here we go. Oh, I like that visual feedback there. That's actually nice. Like, that's a subtle detail, but it actually, I don't really like Material UI design. Looks like kind of gross to me, but I know it's a good standard, I guess. Okay. So I have these selected. If I click the 7th, what's going to happen? Okay, so that's interesting. It moves the end date up. It's kind of what I thought. But then the next click moves the... It's kind of confusing, I think, a little bit. Check angular material. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think about what the first one we want to do is. Probably just like reset, I guess, for now. I just don't want to like pigeonhole myself later. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Just had a general question. Made this app on Swellkit that fetches GitHub GraphQL API and displays some info. The entire app is just Svelte. I was wondering, is there any benefit to using something like Go? Sorry if you just heard that really weird noise. My dog likes to make nasty noises. I don't really see like if you're serving your own backend, sure. But it seems like you're just like using it as a middleman API in between your app and the GitHub GraphQL API. So I would say probably not. I'm sure there's maybe some slight performance benefits, but I don't think it'd be I think it'd be negligible. Okay, so we have the date picker thing half-assedly working at this point in time. I had mentioned there were some other edge cases here. So like part of me really thinks I should be able to adjust this range. But let's just say we want to leave it like this for now. Okay, fine. What was the trick for opening a sheet? Yeah, so sheet.content, oops. Sheet content here has an open variable. And actually I should probably be in oh, this is the wrong one. Sorry, it's actually a dialog. It's actually a dialog at its core. Here it is. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. No, so you're gonna actually pass it to the dialog root, Charlie. Dialog root. This keeps track of the state. So you can see here, like the dialog root is taking this open prop. Now, yeah. No worries. Yeah, this is there's actually a bug right now with this. A bug that I honestly can't solve. I don't know how I'm gonna solve it. Not to get off track here, but which one is it? This one. So like when there's like nested, so like if you had like a conditional, like if we had like if something, I want to render like a dialog here, and then you were setting open somewhere outside of it, basically when this thing gets ripped out of the DOM and this something becomes false, it like freezes the browser. No worries. But yeah, there's this weird bug here that I literally can't fix. I know what's causing it, but what's causing it is fixing a bunch of other things. Inline error notations. I think it's called like error lens or something. Whoops. Yeah, it's error lens. It basically just screams at you until you fix them. That's how you'll get rid of those red squigglies, Charlie. You won't even be able to like look at your editor anymore after you see those. Yeah. I usually turn them off for videos, or I try to remember to because it can be distracting, but yeah. Yeah, there's this weird bug here that happens and it's really frustrating. The most frustrating part about it is that the bug causes your browser to freeze. It's basically infinite looping inside of before each, which makes it really hard to troubleshoot because like before you can even like, it's going nuts and it's like freezing and you're like, okay, now I have to restart my browser. Yeah, Yeah, I need someone smarter than me to look at that, honestly. I enlisted Paolo. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Paolo. He's one of the creators of Svelte Lab. Actually reminds me I need to bother him again about it. But yeah, basically this whole weird hack thing right here that's going on that you see is basically because the dialogues. Well, let me first explain what this is doing. So when you pass in a transition, it's just a function, right? Well, what we're doing here is we're executing that function to get like how long of a delay plus the transition time duration is it, right? And we're actually not re-adding the scroll bar until after your transition would have been done. And it actually only takes like 60% of the transition, which I found out, which is kind of weird. But otherwise, like if you look at the dialog here, you'll notice it probably here. So if you look at the scroll bar, and I click open, goes away instantly, close. You can see there's like a slight delay before it comes back, like negligible. But without that hack, what happens is the scroll bar is added back immediately. And a good example of that is at Melt UI. I'm pretty sure they are still, I think the dialog here might still be busted. So if you notice, like really carefully, you'll notice that the dialog shifts to the left as it closes. Like it's subtle. Like if I hold my mouse pointer here, you can see the E shifts to the left. And that's because of the removal and addition of the scroll bar. So it's either something in our scroll bar logic internal to Melt that we need to change, because obviously this is impacting more than just, ShadCN in bits. But in the meantime, I have that weird transition thing, which is ultimately creating, I guess, more bugs. Well, at least one bug. Hey, that's awesome, Toby. That's awesome to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I'm wanting to get the date picker out, so that's what we're working on here. I guess that'll be the topic of the streams over the next few streams. Yeah, I'll probably stream like every day tomorrow and the next day. My girlfriend's out of town, so I don't have much to do but stream. So yeah, that's not even low key to me. That's high key. Dates are high key a pain in the ass. Like every time I have to do something with a date, I'm like digging through MDN docs. Like the docs kind of suck for it. Like using like the international formatting. Like if this wasn't a library, I'd be using DataFNS for sure. But obviously as a library, we try to like have responsibility or try to like minimize dependencies when possible, right? But if it becomes too painful to do some of these like some of these options here, like I can imagine them being kind of maybe interesting to implement without that. But I'm not really sure. I have to identify the use cases first. Okay, so back on track here. One second. Okay, so what's next, guys? We have the 6th to the 14th. The value is correct here, the 6th and the 14th. Obviously, like rendering of the date on the page is more of like not a concern of mine right now, because this isn't, we have the data being provided, so it's up to the user or developer to figure out how they want to display it. What's important is we have that. Now, what's another, like, I guess, really popular library, like UI library that has a date picker? I think Floatbyte has one, maybe. I just want to see like what is the common consensus behind the ranges and stuff? Like, what is like the starting point? Do they have one? What am I doing right now? I can't type. Okay, I guess they don't have one then, maybe. Interesting. Ant design, yeah, that actually is a really big one. Let me just change my search engine. Like, why are these even in here, man? Like how I can't take Bing out. I do like Edge. I'm one of those weirdos that uses Edge on a Mac, but... Okay, there we go. So, Ant design. So that's a... Where's dark mode? Non-existent? Okay, cool. Okay, so they treat this as like a start date, end date type thing. So if you want to change the end date, you click over here. I can change the end date. Okay, so this is just, yeah. No, this makes more sense to me. They do alternating clicks, really? Even for this one up here? If I click back over here and I click on this one, it's changing this one. So it's alternating on whenever you're just like letting it go by itself. But if I want to come back in here, if I click on this one, now I'm changing the end date. So I can move the end date back here. That stays the same and it shifts focus back over to that one. So this is probably like the... Which this makes sense to me, but okay. I guess how do we specify that, right? Like how do we So I guess let's first also check to see if our single is working properly. So, I think it was. I need to get off this light mode page before I go blind. Okay, so this works well. And it appears like keyboard navigation is working too. I guess, but how do I go back up to the... Okay, there we go. Seems like a kind of a weird order, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, so like single date picking seems to be working. Which monitor do I use? I use the LG Ultrafine 27-inch, the one that's made for Macs. The only other 5K monitor that isn't a... I think it's 5K. That isn't a Mac Studio. And I also have a second monitor, which is the same one, except it's a 24-inch. So it's 4K, which kind of was a mistake, but I couldn't justify spending like $3,000 on... I used to use an ultra wide though. So I actually just started using these 2 days ago. I used to use a 49-inch ultra wide, but it was just too much. And the color quality was pretty bad. Like I would edit a video and I'd see the video on my phone and it would look pretty different. So I knew something was like up. Okay, so what's next here? Multiple? I didn't test that actually, so let's see. It appears to work. So let me just read through these docs real quick of this React date picker and kind of just get a gist of some of the features that we're missing here. I mean, there's a lot, of course, but I just want to get like an idea here as to like what is a good MVP that we can start putting in the wild. You said Mantine has one. Do they have dark mode? I can't spell. Or Mantine. Is it Mantine or Mantine? Oh, you know what actually is probably the issue? Oh, whoa. No. Never mind. It's not the issue. These sites just don't respect my browser setting. What are these red ones? Just like weekends, I guess? Okay, so allow deselect to allow user to deselect the current selected date by clicking on it. Okay, so that might actually be may be something to consider here. Yeah, thanks for recommending this component here, Lake Limbo. I think it's going to be a good. Yeah, I was looking at the MUI one too. Abdel. Again, I like to just get like as much stuff in there and then kind of just refine it. You know, there's always these little gotchas, and as we've learned, as we put things out there, more requests come in, more options. But I do want to have like some solid options to begin with, so you can actually use it without having to go through. Plus, what we've also learned is that if we release too early, we end up having to do some major refactors where, you know, we end up having to introduce a lot of breaking changes because we didn't think about that thing that should have been thought about, or, you know. So, so the deselect option. So with us right now, I don't think that we can deselect. Well, let's go to single. Okay, so it just keeps it selected. So that's going to be an option I can almost guarantee somebody's going to want. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that. Date picker. Okay, so in this case here, These names aren't final, so don't judge me too hard over here, okay? I'm just trying to get out of this like little hell that I'm in down there. And I know there's going to need to be like expanded logic in these, so and the cool thing about this is since this value is like scoped to the entire function, we can use it everywhere. So it's not like, you know, only thing that pass is the date that was clicked. Okay. I kind of maybe just screwed myself a little bit though. That's one of the issues with this is that so I know a big thing is making the options reactive. So that's like one of the big things with Melt is that the options are reactive. So you can update an option on the fly. Like 99% of our options are reactive. So if I want to, you know, have I think the only cases are maybe like select and multi-select because the types are kind of weird. But other than that, like if you wanted to have trying to think about an example of one of them here. Like if I updated one of the menus options on the fly, like the positioning or whatever, it should update, like the state should react in the UI as well after I already initialize it. So I have an option store, I update that, it should update the UI. So when you use get like this, like in this case here, like when they use get options mode, that is, we're now restricting, like this is not gonna be able to be set afterwards. So like this won't react to a change in mode. So for example, if we wanted to have a single date picker and then have the user be able to like select 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, obviously that would determine what mode it's going to be in. And so in that case, we couldn't just reactively update the UI. We essentially have to have a different component with these options, a different component with these options, rather than be able to just kind of flip it on the fly. So this is going to have to change. I think I'm like pretty sure here. Well, actually, no, this is fine. That's fine how we're doing it here. This is fine. Because we can still update it. Next time they click, it's going to get the latest value. So I was being dumb right there. But in other places, I want to make sure that we're doing that. Any type of actions that we're using. So like, here's a good example of one. So like we're missing some options here. So like we should have a close on escape. We should have a couple of different options that we're missing from the like a floating element. So that when I press escape, it closes the popover and stuff. In that case, we're gonna make those reactive because this actions won't rerun again unless we update that, right? So once this action's in there, it's done. Unless we reactively update it by calling destroy and then running it. What the hell was I doing? Okay, so for the single, if, and also are these actually being, okay, so this is probably before our days of doing the two writables. So let me just grab some logic from like, I don't know, select maybe. Whoops. Yeah, because before we were doing like one options writable. Problem with that is that we were having everything be depending upon every option. So if you wanted to just like update whether the element was going to close on click or not, it would end up re-rendering all that stuff, re-updating all that stuff because things were listening to changes in options rather than listening to the change they actually cared about. So since this component was started, we've actually updated the way that we handle that. And we create this two writable stores function here, which what are they doing here? What are you building? Right now I'm working on the Melt UI date picker. It's like partially built at this point in time, so I'm just kind of like trying to push it over the finish line. It's not exactly the most exciting or fun component to work on. Now, something we had to think about here is like the default value stuff. So we're probably not doing that. So yeah, we're doing just value here. So we have like some old school before our big refactor type stuff. So this should actually be default value. That should be a date. Value should be a writable date. And then on value change will be an on change or a change function with a date. But this is actually going to be, actually, no, it's good. That's fine. In all reality though, we're going to have to change this because like if you're in single mode, it shouldn't be returning an array of dates. It should just be a single date. But again, that's one of those things we can deal with later. So let's go ahead and get this up to speed. So options is no longer going to be this. It's going to be this. And we want to omit the default value. I think that'll be it. Let me look at actually like the radio group. It's probably a more simplified example here. So how are we doing this? So, okay, we're omitting the value store. We should be also omitting default value here as well, but and then we can destructure. Actually, maybe we leave that default value alone. They're not saved at types. Oh, whoops. We can actually just do that there. And then we don't have to do this craziness. We can just destructure from options. So we have arrow size, we have open, active triggers me second, give me something else. Dates, I want to say is outside of the options. And then we have those two stores there without having to do that craziness. And then active date, not sure what the hell that is, but we'll figure it out. So then we don't have to get options mode. We're just going to get mode really. Yeah, this is... So a bunch of stuff is probably broken. Everywhere we're using options. So auto close is also one. So here, this is a good example of like what I was talking about, where the like, if anything inside of this option store changed, we were like running this effect here, which, you know, may not have major implications, but like, we don't have to. We only care about the mode here. What else are we doing? Options. Doing options somewhere, I'm sure. Yep. And then here, actually, in this case, we don't want to do that. We want to do earliest, latest. We also have mode here. I think we're probably cleaned up now. I'm not too sure what the idea here was with this earliest and latest. I guarantee there was something, so I just gotta figure out what that was about. I'm assuming it's just like settings, like a threshold of what is the earliest allowed date versus not allowed date. But I think our matcher will probably help us there once we add that. Oh yeah, so now here, instead of okay, so I broke something. Let's figure out what it is. I guess it may be it. Okay. What was our option we're working on? Working on allow deselect. So that's going to be a click event for the handle single click. If get allow deselect, and then we'll keep the rest of the logic the same. If auto close is open, we'll close it. If not, keep it open. Oh, I actually need to make that true, I guess. So wait, what is this? Hold on a second. What did I just do? Okay, I don't know what the other file is, but forget you saw that. Okay, allow deselect. Let's just set that to true. Then we'll actually set auto close to false so we can just see it. Okay, so it doesn't care about what my auto close is, I guess. Oh, that's why. Okay, so it is not in fact deselecting it. That's because you guys didn't correct me here for being stupid. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be an issue. Okay, so if we want to have a date selected to begin with, we're running these functions in this area here. Like we're always creating a date, which is probably not a good idea. So yeah, so this runs so there's like flawed logic here. So it's assuming these are gonna be dates always. So there we go. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, I know why. Okay. So where we're doing the allow deselect, we need to see if value, right? If there is a value, because right now we're just basically setting it to an empty array always. So, so what we should probably do is value.update, and then so prev.length, then we're going to empty, otherwise that. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have deselect working. We have auto close that of course works as well. We have range working. We have multiple working. What's next? Oh. What is next here? Let's look at so we're already handling navigating the months. I didn't do that, somebody else did. This will be useful. Go to today. I don't really know if it's that useful right now. Either way, I think it's probably be a function that could be, and maybe it is actually useful, but like more so with the options, right? Okay, so they have a from year and to year, which limits the months. These will be things that the user can implement themselves. Like, so many options there are with this thing. It's kind of insane when you look at it. But like, we have to provide all this pretty much like the same functionality, right? Same flexibility there. So we have most of this covered. Yeah, okay, so I guess when we're in the mode multiple, we want to probably do like a min max, like how many days can you select? Because right now it's just like a free for all, right? Again, this type is gonna have to get like Adrian, if you're watching, I may need your assistance with this. But for now, I want to know if this is actually like, how's that enforced? Oh, okay. So basically just like you physically cannot select less than 2 days. Like it doesn't even let you unselect them. I want to say this is probably how it should be. Like out of the box. I think this feels reasonable to me, I guess. If I like selected the 27th and I want to go back, I guess like what do you even call that option? Like, can you click on 12 first and then have the range start on 13? Let's see. Where was I? Selecting dates. No. So yeah, I see what you're getting at there. Is like you have to like click 12, 13, and then, well, you have to click it, I guess, again. Yeah, so you have to click it again, which I feel like is what I would end up doing. Like if I just selected this, like I would assume if I click again, I'm going to keep dragging from the 12th on, which it does do. If I go back to the 13th, it selects that. And then, okay, I want to go from the 13th to the 24th. Boom. Just kidding. I want to go to the 18th. Let's just add this functionality in. We already know that, and I'm going to hold off on the min max option. I feel like that's like more of like a nice to have, and it could potentially be implemented outside of Melt potentially. Which is probably what the earliest and latest are for. So I guess by default, we're always going to keep the first value in the array. Keep the first index 0. When they click on something that is after that date, we set that next or that, second date to whatever they click on. If it's before, we are now going to shift it, and now it's going to become the first. That before date is now going to become the first, and the range starts over. Every other click would trigger the start date, and the other would trigger the end date. Yeah, I know. That's why I know there's going to be like 10 different ways people want to use this, and I'm sure it also even matters like depending on the region where you live as well. Like I'm sure there's different like ways that's handled. So, oh, you're saying every other click. So if we look here, we actually see this is actually kind of a good visualization. And really, our date picker should probably not be like a pop out like that, at least not immediately. We should have an option to have that as part of it. But ultimately, what we want is just a calendar. You can stick it on a menu, I'll pop over. If you stick it in a popover, it's going to have the same accessibility, or it should, as the popover, and all those pieces as far as like hitting escape to close, a focus trap, things like that are already taken care of. So I'm starting to think that this shouldn't even probably be in a component to begin, in like a popover component. But then again, you have to think about like an input. We can provide like an input. Yeah, I think that's honestly what the direction that I'm going to take this with. Yeah, I think it's what it is. I think like a functional calendar, flat calendar, boom. Then you can put it in a popover. You can put it in a dialog. You can put it in like, the other options are there for you to put it. I don't think we have to force it to be inside of a menu. That just doesn't seem like right to me, I guess. So with that being said, I'm sure there's a menu here. Are we even doing that actually? Or are we just actually putting it in a popover already? I thought I saw we were using a popover action. Yeah, we are. So for content, we're using that. So let's just not. Actually, before I go, I should probably, what the hell is this? It's because it's his head, he has the head still. Let's merge the latest changes in here and see what type of massive merge conflict we get before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. Oh wow, we just have one. Why do I still have so many merge conflicts though? That's kind of the... Maybe not. Maybe we're good. Maybe it's the other one that was the issue. Yeah, KB Web, that's actually a good point. That's a good point there. Okay, so now we should be running... What's the issues here? Okay, so let's mess with this range. I just remove the menu actually, so... Whatever. That's because I'm trying to use something inside of the... Oh wow, this is really old. That's probably why the build was failing right there. Okay, so now it's not going to open up, of course, because Hazem, I've been coding since 2019. I wrote my first, well, I made an HTML website a long time ago when I was like 12, but so 16 years ago. Actually, I was 11. So 17, almost 17 years ago. No, that would put me at what? Holy shit. That was 17 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. But as far as like writing actual code, it's been, I don't know, what, 4 years? Probably around 4 years at this point in time. What about you? Is my inexperience showing or what? Okay, so this should just be visible by default. So let's like, I don't really think we need an active trigger here. I think Tomas would agree with me on this bit because we've been kind of moving away. We had too much opinions initially with certain things, like the combo box is a perfect example of such. That just got refactored to be more flexible because some of these things we were doing, you could just do yourself. It's not that hard. But by doing it, we have to like make sacrifices for make it not as flexible, which is a problem. Like, I'm going to say, like, at the moment, I don't even want the trigger. I'm just going to try to get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need. I don't want an arrow. I don't need close because I'm not using that. I just want like a flat counter on the page that I can just update a value for. Why is this still showing as a function? That should definitely not be should be a type error, I think. Oh, the Tom. Started 2 years ago. Actually, I was wondering how you learned this in 4 years and struggling with the full stack thing. Honestly, Hazem, I will say I feel like I just recently started feeling like somewhat competent. I guess like confident that I can, you know, do things. I'd say unless you're like working at like, you have incredible mentors that early on, then it's tough to like what specifically do you feel like you're struggling with? I'd say like, again, I've learned probably more in the past 6 months from between Adrian and Tomas. Like I just learned a lot from those guys. Like they're wizards. And just like working on a project with them or getting their insights on things is like invaluable. Like you won't ever catch me doing some, you know, creating a new array when I don't need to because I get called out for it when I do it. Yeah, what do you feel like you're struggling with specifically about the full stack thing? Because full stack is a wide scope, and that's another thing you got to think about as well. Is like, I wouldn't get too caught up with the whole. I wouldn't get caught up too much with the whole like. I have to know all these different technologies, you know, because some YouTuber said so. I'll just like focus on what you enjoy or like solve your own problems. Like with me, like I didn't want to honestly, I did not want anything to do with a headless UI library. I wanted no part of that because I know it's like a pain. You're basically building a component that's can be used in like a number of different ways. But I wanted the components. I wanted to use the components. So like, yeah, Adam, you just gotta find, like, again, look for open source projects. I mean, hell, even Melt UI. Like if you just join, I'm not sure if you're part of the Discord or not, but like, we're very open to contributors, like very open, not, you know, like if you wanted to tackle something or you wanted to, like right now we need like a lot of example components, right? That's one of the things we're lacking in the docs. Like just start getting involved in the different projects that you use. Not just to contribute, but to learn, to have someone else critique your code, because Thomas will critique it. If you go back to like my PRs that I've submitted on Melt, just to, again, like humble myself real quick, like you can see here, like you're going to see which one. Where's one that has a lot of comments? Like this one, like I just messed up here. Like if this was like me, like actually this one isn't a bad one. Anyways, if you go look through these, there's some of these where like Thomas leaves good insights into some of this stuff. Like I guess here probably. Like oops, like well this part was just more of a mistake on my end. But let me actually find one where it was actually good feedback rather than just me rushing something. Probably this bit here. So like what we were doing is we were doing a lot of like array copies for no reason. We were also like not properly checking things. We were just like doing a lot of type casting rather than actually verifying. And we got like a couple bugs that made us realize we need to like make this better. Now obviously it's the big PR. It's 500 lines removed, 500 lines added. So it's a good review, and you can see here like different changes, like just small like things, like the way I structure something, right? Like this could be handled a bit cleaner. Using a filter instead of as here, I was still casting. So like just having this feedback and like you start to pick up habits because you don't want to have that same critique again on your next PR. Yeah, it's like invaluable. Like just contributing to, even if it's a small project, just like, but you have to actually care about it. Like that's the thing. I see people, I guess sometimes will say just contribute just to contribute to something. Like, yeah, you can do that. You can help, you know, fix typos, things like that. It's always appreciated. But at the end of the day, if you want to learn, like you have to like try to take on, I guess, more things. look at what's not being done that you think you could do and do it and get feedback on it, and then learn and ask questions, because we're always on the help. Nah, Adam, that's the thing. That's that holds you back. That holds a lot of people back, though. I was the same way. And you try to like perfect it to the point where like you're like, oh my God, I hope this isn't messed up, and I get embarrassed. Like, you have to just like leave your ego at the door and just be willing to learn. Like if you pop into the Melt Discord and you see the like contributors channel, and you can see people ask questions all the time about they want to help, but they're not sure what the hell this thing does or that thing does. And by now there's enough people in there that have an idea as to what's going on that they can help you. If it's not myself or Tomas or Adrian. But yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about it. Again, it's not going to get merged. Like you'll get a PR review, but it's not going to be mean. It's just going to tell you what needs to be changed, and you know. What was I going to do? Whoops, let me okay. I'm trying to render just a counter on the page, right? That's my goal. So I don't need trigger, I don't need arrow close. And I could probably rename this to calendar, but we'll leave it at content for now. Okay, this is fine for now while I develop this thing. Okay, so yeah, has them. So like melts, like I guess a good place that has a couple examples is like the dialog, right? So, you know, using a dialog in a drawer, using it like this is, I guess, a little bit complex, but let me think about something that like, which one has a bunch of, I know one of these has a few different things. So I can't think of any off the top of my head, of course, right now, but I guess like different ways to use the components. So like looking at the options here, like if we look at like, so accordion has a couple of different ones, right? So Baba, I'm not sure what that is. I know it's a thing. I've seen I think Rich Harris has done it before on stream, but I don't remember what it is. I haven't used it. I think it's like the Svelte selector or something like that. But yeah, it has like for example, like this, like disabling a single item, like how you could handle disabling a single item, right? Like what is it going to look like? Opening multiple items at once. Like this is like one of those, like basically looking at the options and then saying, okay, let me show an example of what that looks like when I use that option, right? I'm trying to find like a better, I guess, example here for you. But if you just reach out in the contributors thing on Discord, in the Melt Discord, we'll tell you. Tomas or myself will tell you like what are some things. I just can't think of any right now. This is super sick, man. I'm really stoked about this. This is such a cool component. I feel like it should collapse though when I click on this again, but I think there's like when I hit enter, I want to say, but I don't have to read the spec, the ARIA spec here. Maybe not. Yeah, enter just selects the node, I guess. Oh, so maybe it's right arrow that actually closes it. So yeah, it's left arrow, right arrow. Yeah, like just showing different ways to use this component, like different ways to use, you know, a radio group. Like maybe you wanted to have, instead of these like dots here, maybe you wanted to do something like this. So in Shadsi and Svelte here, you can see that in the appearance section where we have a radio group we're being used under the hood. So this is a radio group, but it doesn't look anything like the one in the melt docs, right? Where it's like, this is like your standard radio group that you'd see in a form, but these you'd also see. So being able to show how would you do something like that? You can even cheat and kind of look at the code in here. It's not going to directly translate to melt because it has bits wrapped around it, but little things like this, because people ask those questions all the time, like, oh, how could I do this? Okay, so I don't think we need the popover thing for that. Because here's what could happen. If I really wanted to, I could set up a popover. Actually, let's just use the popover, what is it, index. It's like for this popover here, if instead of doing this, I wanted to do like just a slot, for example. I'm going to change this back before I save, before I commit, I hope. And then in the date picker, pop over from, it's like, and then I wrap this thing in a popover. Now I have like, you know, obviously I have to adjust the styles, but I have like the date picker. If I hit escape, it closes. So yeah, we don't need the menu for this, in my opinion. What are these unused selectors, man? This is annoying me. Okay, so we have our calendar. We're able to select dates. Okay, that's an issue. Found a bug already. Okay, so that's with our deselect. So I'm an idiot and I'm literally checking if it exists. I really need to check if prev.length and then prev 0 is equal to the date. Okay, what am I doing here? Okay, for single click. If there's a value, we're setting it to this. But what I really want to do is if there's a value and that value is equal to the current date, then I want to set it to an empty. Actually, let me just make this a bit easier for myself to visualize. So if prev.length, so if there is a value in there, and is the same day, we're going to return that. Otherwise, we're going to return date. This to me makes sense. If there is a value and the value is the same value that we're currently clicking on, we should return an empty array, clear out the date. Otherwise, we want to return this date because it's not the same one. Okay, so that works. Cool. And this clears up a lot of like BS inside of this builder. Is like we don't need the arrow. We don't need close and outside click. We don't need close on escape. We don't need prevent scroll. We don't need positioning. Nor do we need auto close or arrow size or open. So we just drastically simplified this bad boy here. Oh. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not sure what the hell this confirm is. It's not being used for anything right now, so it's going to go bye-bye. Okay. I'm probably passing a prop that we no longer have, auto close. It's a bit, I don't like, that is not going to be acceptable for us. That, I know why it's happening, but I think we should probably render the calendar before the page loads, not have to do it after the fact, but we'll figure that out later. Okay, so we have single select. Let me just look at what this range looks like. the 10th to the 20th. Yeah, it's fine. Each okay. Okay, so this is obviously an issue right here. The hell? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so weirdly enough, like your first time clicking on it, I guess we have some busted logic with our range, because if I like click it and then do it like on initial render, we want to start off with like a date selected here, and then it's just going forward. Svelte special elements. You're talking about like the svelte this and svelte that. I want to make a video on actions. I think actions are some of the more underrated, one of the more underrated features of Svelte. Special elements, like slots and Svelte self. This is good for like recursion. Svelte component is good when you're passing components to other components as props or down from like a loader. Yeah, you have anything in particular that you're interested in knowing about, Chris? And thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. Glad you find them useful. Okay, so we have some busted logic in our date picker at the moment. More specifically in this range handle range click. Like basically I need to check if the user's clicked already or not. Because like I don't think it's unreasonable to imagine that we would want to like start the date on today's date. And then if like the title said select the range, they would want to probably click like the 22nd. And then whoops. Now you have like a backwards ass date here. You gotta click 13 again and then click 22nd and then it works. So there's just an issue with our state when they first click on it. So this condition is not met here. This should actually be this doesn't fix that, but that was kind of weird. I don't know why. I feel like that should have been a bug beforehand, but okay. So in this case, previous.length or the value.length is true because there's gonna be what's in this case here, we have one already selected. So there's one selected. We don't have a second one. So this condition's automatically gonna be false. And then also, in this case that we're trying to click on, what are we trying to click? The 22nd. This is also false. So we're skipping these two conditions. It's not greater than 1, so we're skipping this condition. So we're then pushing the date, and then we're returning it. So this is exactly what I would expect to happen. That's what should be happening. Hey, what the hell is this? If range, update the value. If it's less than 2, we're pushing this to that. Okay, so this is like probably not good logic here. This is definitely the logic that's breaking it, but why are we pushing this here? I'm trying to think about why he had that here originally, because I don't want to break something else. I guess so, like, I guess to make that the start and the end date. That does make sense. So when we first load the page, yep, the 13th to 13th. So it's our logic here, actually. So we actually need like another condition. I'll clean this up eventually. I'm just trying to get it. I like to just, you know, kind of go like this and then refactor later on. It's like otherwise I'll just like spend unnecessary time trying to like make it look pretty. So what's happening here is that 0 and 1 both equal like the September 13th right now. But the problem is that this condition isn't met. Prev 0 should not equal the date it's clicked. So in this case, it is greater than 1. And it's not before. So we're basically just like wiping it out. So if prev 1 is equal to prev 0, do I want to do the date? No, I don't need to do the date. Then I'm going to return. I guess I got to do a prev dot, what is it, pop? And then prev dot push. Okay, so that works. If I click that again, it restarts it there. If I click here, if I click back, we're doing that restart thing, right? But what I wanted to do is kind of continue it on. Wait, that was a bug, I think. Okay, yeah, so I can see there it's literally getting behind itself. What the hell? So sorry, is this solid? No, this is not solid. This is a svelte. Svelte window. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I have never used svelte window ever. Oh, okay. It's just the window. So you can attach like event listeners to the window. Oh, it's actually kind of nifty. I usually do like an action, and I'll actually, inside the action, I'll grab the window then. But honestly, I have never used this. And then document is literally the document. But I guess it handles the unsubscriptions already. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about unsubscribing from them when it's destroyed. Huh, this is actually probably an underrated feature. Okay. So there's some weird shiz happening here on our date picker, wherever that's at. And it's because I got you, Chris. Okay, so why does it keep toggling back to the 13th? That's slightly concerning. Okay. That's what it was. Now this should not be possible though. Okay, so if it's before, this logic's getting a little bit tricky in here. I might have to do some moving some stuff around before I know it. like, okay, so if there's not a prev.length, like there's nothing in that array, I don't really want to, I need to push date twice essentially, right? Because we always want to have two in the range. We should always have two indexes. We either have nothing or we have two indexes. Because just selecting one is basically saying my range is today. Yeah, Chris, this is a part of Melt UI. So Melt UI here. Yeah, it's going to be the headless date picker for it. This is just, yeah, we're missing that component. It's one of our big components we're missing. Sorry if you hear my dog making weird noises in the background. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I tried avoiding it. Someone started it, but then they didn't finish it. So, and I want it for some other projects. So I'm just sucking it up and doing it. Yeah, so no matter what, like there should always be two indexes in the array. Or none. Either none or two. There should never be just like one, right? Hey, shut up down there. So, I guess a better logic would be like we go earlier. So if not prev.length, then we're gonna just return that. So we'll get that out of the way early, and then the rest of this logic doesn't have to be indented. We don't have to do any weird stuff like that. Except we have to return something else here. So let's just return prev here if all the conditions fail. Okay, so this handles if the date array okay. In this case, like yeah, so if the value array of dates has one date and the new date is the same as the existing date, we're just gonna keep it at that one, right? So that looks good to me. And this is where it starts to kind of go off the wagon a bit. So we don't need to, okay. Again, I don't think we really need to check if it's greater than one, because we should always have it be greater than one. Yeah, I don't think we even need to check this anymore, because I want to say we should not have this even be a possible condition. Can I recommend it over skeleton? I can't actually. I think they're just different libraries. Like, yeah, like skeleton is a component library in a sense of like it provides you with components you can install, you can update really easily. You don't have to do like, it's not headless, so you can move a bit faster, well, substantially faster. You have less to comprehend. This is more so like I want to build a component library, or I want to build some really custom components. Like I'm talking custom functionality, things like that. But you could easily mix and match the two. Like our goal, I think, with Melt is to make it like to get Skeleton to use it for a lot of their stuff, like to stop having to like reinvent the wheel. they can focus on making their UI look good and the nice things like the themings and or themes, and other things that Skeleton does really well. Not that they don't do components well, but we already have headless builders. They can just as easily keep their APIs the same, and then we have one like source of truth of like ARIA components, right? Yeah, Skeleton's awesome. The entire team is incredible. They work really hard, and they have built something great for Svelte. Okay, so in this case here, I need to see what this is before. Okay, so if date is before prev 0, then basically we want to completely wipe this thing out. Yeah, Bubette, that's my gripe. That's one of my gripes too, I'd say. Like, but I do understand their logic behind it. But I also think they also know too. And again, I think they're going to like make some adjustments in that aspect because I think it's one of their common feedbacks they get. But again, we have a headless dialog, a headless modals, headless toasts. So they could just as easily like just say, okay, hey, here. What do you think about SvelteKit's image optimization? To be honest with you, I haven't done like on the fly optimization, like next image. I haven't done anything like that. I'm pretty sure there's like a project. I'm pretty sure you can use like Vite. Vite has something for that you can use. But I haven't done it. I just usually compress, like I don't even want to kind of explain how I do it. I'll just upload all of the images I'm going to be using to tiny PNG and then put them in my static directory. But again, that's not ideal. But yeah, I don't have any thoughts on that, Renyato. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, but I guess that's like it's like a design decision, right? So like, I imagine your thoughts are that you can just put a dialog wherever you want to put it, and it just works wherever you put it, right? And they want to have you define it in a centralized place where you can then call it. The benefits of that are that you can just call this preset dialog from anywhere in the application relatively easily. The downsides are probably what you're experiencing, which is where you're having to like put your component inside of this modal builder thing and then call it somewhere else. Yeah, I understand that. I didn't like that design decision myself, but I understood it. I understand the intention behind it. Learn basic JavaScript, TypeScript, interested in Svelte. What's better way to start? Don't have any framework/libraries knowledges. I'd say go watch Joy of Code's SvelteKit course. If I had to recommend, well, actually I'd start with his Svelte stuff first probably. So I'd start with this playlist here. And then I would move on to where's his long ass video? This one. Yeah, let's start with these two. Wait, did it send two of them or just one link? That's weird. Yeah, so I'd watch this one. I watched through this series first. This teaches you Svelte, so the primitive, the front end side of the house, and then his SvelteKit video, which is like 5 hours, but it's a course, right, from zero. And then when you want to start getting into other stuff, authentication, he has videos. I have a few different videos on my channel as well. And try to build something. And then as you find yourself needing to know how to do something, I want to know how to do pagination. I have a video on that. I want to know how to do filtering. I have a video on that. Or I want to do animations. He has a video on that. Like there's just, you know, that's what I would do if I was starting again. Okay. So I'm having an issue here. Where's my issue? Where was I? All right. So when I select this, this works good. When I select this, this works good. When I select back, it's not working. So what should be happening is this should be being removed. Okay, I know what's happening. It's the pop push here. So basically, I don't want to do a pop push. This is kind of cringy what I'm doing to like avoid a... honestly, I don't know if this is like better than just creating a new array at this point. One second, let me send a screenshot of this to somebody. Okay, let's see if that fixed my problems. Okay. All right. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Uh-oh. Okay, so now our range is completely busted. Actually, if it's before it all, wait. If it's before,
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now.
the beginning, then we should just reset the array. But this should still evaluate the true as well. Can I just do this? Pretty sure I can just do that. I rarely ever use splice, to be honest with you all. Absolutely not. That does not work. Maybe it does, actually. I'm just incompetent. I don't know. You know what? Actually, I think I can, yeah. Wait, why is this acting... Okay, so this is what's happening here. It's when I click on a date after the fact. in this case, I want to do prev.unshift. Or I'm sorry, prev.pop push date. Hello? Okay, I know what's happening here. Wait, but this should be evaluating false. Oh, it's or. Nice. Okay, this is working as I expect. No. Okay, so what that tells me is that we're gonna have to have like some, I guess, some logic set up to handle this based on like someone's preferences. So if they want to choose, like this way of doing the dates, where we can do continuous ranges like that, or if they just want it to reset altogether when they do it, like this is gonna get out of hand pretty quick. I guess like what would be a good word for that? That option, like, is it a? Like, what's a good name for that? Like, what is the option? Like, how do you describe this ability? If I want to continue, I want to keep the range extending as I click, or decreasing or increasing the range, or if I just want it to like reset all together when I click again. Like if I click 21 in this place, like this feels like a bug because I'm like clicking 21 multiple times. I think that tells me I want to start over at 21 instead of 13. But instead I have to go back here. Actually, can I even possibly do that again? I literally can't possibly do that. I can't go back. Yeah, that's an issue. I can only go backwards. I cannot possibly like select a value now that's and start ahead of where I'm at. So that's an issue. So I guess, yeah, like a double click, like 2 clicks on the same element again, on the same date should like reset it. So for now, I'm just going to hack this. So it's just, I don't think we'll have to make this a store, actually. Should just be like a date. Whoops. Okay. So when we click on it, the first thing we're going to do is, I'm not sure why this would be an empty string. Like, I think that should probably be an error, but we'll let it ride for now. So we'll set, actually, let's let this bad boy. So we're going to set last clicked date equals date. Actually, so if last click date and is the same day as the current date, then we can just, I guess, preemptively go ahead and set this thing up. So we can just set value.update. Actually, we can just set it to the current date, because that means we clicked on the same date 2 times in a row. Nice. So that works exactly as I expected. Okay, we're making progress here. Look at this. Wow. I'm removing these for now because we're not using them just yet. I'm trying to like get these get aliases down. Like I'm so used to just typing the full thing out. What? What is it? Set I love Git, but that works. I think it's because I have some weird shit going on with where I like cloned his branch and then I just created a new PR. So I'm still trying to work off of the fork of his branch or the branch of his branch, and I should be trying to push to this one, which is what my thing is linked to. So let's just do a okay, that should be good. Okay, that's probably all I'm going to do today, folks. If you have any ideas for the date picker, it's probably what I'll be working on the next couple days on stream. So, yeah. Thank you all for hanging out, though. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.